Operation Epic Fury, or as some are perhaps uncharitably calling it, Operation Epic Failure. Day 13, and it's still not clear what the objectives of the war are. Nobody ever starts out planning a long war. If you launch a military attack, it tends to be because you think you can wrap it up quite swiftly and you hold the cards.
The global economy was on pretty firm and improving footing coming into this conflict, and this conflict is a meaningful negative shock to it. For the economy, this isn't just about oil. Oil remains important and the energy complex remains important, but it is very much about supply chains. If we compare this to 2022, which is the most recent major supply chain crisis, we have fewer buffers than we had back then. Back then, we were looking at economies that were coming out of the pandemic, that had massive fiscal support, where you had very large amounts of household savings. So even though inflation ended up rising very strongly, growth didn't take nearly as much of a hit as some had feared.
I think what we need to really think about is how the insurance market, in some ways, was protected during COVID from lots of complicated claims about business resilience insurance, but actually the world has moved on. And this is actually a proper war event that has no borders. Businesses are not anywhere near as covered for business disruption as they think they are. And that's a critical thing.
This is big trouble for any politician. Any politician would tell you that kind of energy prices and an energy crunch very rapidly translates into retail trouble and translates, let's put it brutally, into polling trouble for incumbents in. So this will be on leaders' minds. So that question of could we see the origins of the next major migration crisis breaking in European politics? That's on European politicians' minds.
No US president will want to undertake any action that might drive up gas prices at the pump, least of all before midterms. And that is certainly true for President Trump. But I do think that investors are making an error when they conclude that President Trump is going to be able to kind of wind this conflict up swiftly. As a result, it's the spiraling out of control, the fact that Iran has the capacity to project power and increase the costs that I think has gone so underweighted in the discussion of the geostrategy of this conflict.